Most people don't fail because they lack strength or intelligence. They fail in the exact moment pressure arrives. Think about it, how many times have you seen someone completely right lose control and lose everything? Their logic collapses the second emotion takes over. Their voice tightens. Their body gives them away. And suddenly, truth doesn't matter anymore. Every confrontation is a silent test, not of facts, but of restraint. Can you remain grounded when attacked? Can you hold your frame when challenged? Because the one who stays composed quietly takes control. Power doesn't rush. It waits. And once you understand this, every interaction changes. But most people never realize where the real battle begins, until it's already lost. The mistake everyone makes is thinking arguments are won with better words. They rehearse sentences. They sharpen responses. They memorize facts like weapons. But when tension spikes, no one is listening to words anymore. They're watching you. Your breathing. Your posture. Your eyes. People decide if you're credible long before you finish speaking. Calm presence creates authority. Instability destroys it. You could be correct and still lose simply by looking uncertain. This is why steadiness matters more than explanation. When your delivery is calm, people lean in. When it's frantic, they tune out. Before you ever defend your point, you're being judged. And that judgment happens faster than you think. Watch two people disagree. One is restless, over-explaining, shifting weight, searching for approval. The other speaks slowly, holds eye contact, and doesn't rush. Even if the second person is partly wrong, they feel more trustworthy. Calmness suggests control. Control suggests confidence. Confidence suggests hidden strength. Nervousness, on the other hand, makes people suspicious. They wonder what you're afraid of. What you're hiding. Presence outweighs precision every time. This is why preparation isn't just mental, it's physical. When pressure hits, your first responsibility isn't proving anything. It's staying steady. Because once you lose composure, you lose influence. And once influence is gone, facts won't save you. Pressure exposes the body before the mouth can react. Hands shake. Eyes dart. Breathing becomes shallow. These signals speak louder than any sentence. Your body is always telling the truth, even when you try to control your words. People read these cues instinctively and make instant judgments about your strength. Most of this happens unconsciously. That's why controlling your body is the fastest way to regain control of a situation. You don't calm the mind first. You calm the body. And the mind follows. This reverses how most people think. But those who understand it gain an advantage few ever develop. And once you master this, tension stops being a threat. Breathing is the first lever. Under stress, breath becomes fast and shallow, signaling danger to the brain. Logic shuts down. Emotion takes over. Slow breathing reverses this instantly. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Deep, controlled, deliberate. Your heart rate drops. Your thoughts clear. Next is posture. Stand or sit like you belong where you are. Still. Balanced. No unnecessary movement. Stillness communicates confidence. Finally, your voice. Slow it down. Lower it slightly. Let silence exist without rushing to fill it. Silence unsettles others. And when they become uncomfortable, they reveal more than they intend. That's where control quietly shifts. Remaining calm doesn't just stabilize you, it destabilizes others. When someone throws emotional energy at you and gets nothing back, it disrupts their expectations. They expect resistance. They expect escalation. When it doesn't happen, doubt creeps in. They start questioning themselves. Why isn't this person reacting? Do they know something I don't? Calmness reframes the dynamic. Aggression loses power without a response. This isn't passivity. It's dominance through restraint. You're not absorbing their chaos, you're letting it collapse under its own weight. And in that moment, the person who appeared aggressive suddenly looks insecure. That's when the balance shifts permanently. The fastest way to lose control is to take things personally. The moment your ego feels attacked, clarity disappears. You stop thinking strategically and start reacting emotionally. Detachment is what prevents this. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care, it means you refuse to let emotions dictate your actions. You step back mentally and observe instead of reacting. You see criticism as information, not insult. This shift alone separates powerful people from reactive ones. When you detach, you gain perspective. When you gain perspective, you regain choice. And choice is where power lives. Without it, you're just responding on impulse, and impulses are easy to manipulate. Imagine your idea is publicly challenged. One response is immediate defense, tight voice, sharp tone, wounded pride. The room feels tension rise. The challenger doubles down. Even if you're right, you lose the room. The other response is calm curiosity. You acknowledge the point and ask for specifics. Instantly, tension drops. You appear reasonable. The room relaxes. Now the challenger either exposes weak reasoning or contributes something useful. Either way, you win without fighting. This is what acting strategically looks like. You're no longer defending yourself, you're guiding the conversation. And once people see you can handle pressure without cracking, they stop trying to provoke you. Detachment also protects you from irreversible mistakes. Words spoken in emotional heat can't be pulled back. You can apologize, but damage lingers. Detachment creates space between feeling and response. In that space, you ask one question: will this help me long term? Most emotional reactions fail that test. So you don't say them. You stay composed. Over time, this becomes automatic. You recognize emotional spikes early and intercept them. That small pause changes everything. It turns reactions into decisions. And when you're deciding instead of reacting, you're no longer vulnerable. You're in control, even when the situation is hostile. Insults are designed to provoke reaction. That's their entire purpose. When someone disrespects you publicly, they want you to snap. They want you to look emotional. The most powerful response is calm indifference. A neutral acknowledgement. Or none at all. When you don't react, the insult collapses. Now they look desperate. Emotional. Uncontrolled. And you look untouchable. This reversal is devastating to people who rely on emotional dominance. They lose their footing. They expose themselves. And without saying much, you've shifted perception entirely. You didn't fight back, you let them defeat themselves. And once people see that, they hesitate before testing you again. Calmness isn't just defensive, it's leverage. In chaos, the calmest person becomes the anchor. Others instinctively look to them for direction. Volume loses authority. Presence gains it. When you remain steady while others unravel, you stand out immediately. Titles don't matter in these moments. Experience doesn't matter. Whoever looks least shaken commands attention. People begin matching your tone. Conversations slow. Decisions shift toward you. This is how influence is quietly taken, not granted. You don't force leadership, you attract it. And once people associate you with stability, they defer to you when things go wrong. That's real power. In personal conflicts, calmness disarms escalation. When one person refuses to raise their voice, the argument changes shape. The emotional person eventually feels exposed. Embarrassed. Alone in their intensity. Slowly, they lower their guard. This opens space for real dialogue. Not shouting. Not scoring points. Actual resolution. Calmness turns conflict into cooperation. It transforms opposition into conversation. And people remember how you made them feel long after the argument ends. They remember who stayed grounded. Who didn't attack. Who didn't lose control. Over time, that memory reshapes how they treat you. And that's how calmness compounds into long-term influence. People are drawn to stability. Especially in uncertain moments. You don't need perfect answers. You don't need total confidence. You just need composure. Calmness creates the illusion of competence, and perception drives reality. Once people believe you're capable, they listen differently. They seek your input. They give your ideas more weight. This isn't deception. It's understanding how humans respond to emotional cues. Stability feels safe. And people instinctively follow what feels safe. That's why the calmest person often leads, even if they never ask to. Influence isn't claimed loudly. It's earned quietly, one composed moment at a time. Staying calm once helps. Staying calm consistently changes your identity. Repetition builds reputation. When people see you handle pressure the same way every time, they label you unshakable, reliable, grounded. Once that label sticks, behavior toward you changes. People stop testing you. Stop pushing boundaries. They know emotional tactics won't work. They approach you with respect because they understand it's the only effective way. Your calmness becomes a filter. It blocks nonsense before it reaches you. And when you speak, people listen more closely. Reputation does the work for you. And the right reputation protects you when nothing else can. Inconsistency destroys trust. If you're calm sometimes and explosive other times, people don't know what to expect. Uncertainty breeds discomfort. But consistency creates predictability, and predictability creates respect. Even when people disagree with you, they trust how you'll handle it. That trust is invaluable. It opens doors. It invites responsibility. It attracts opportunities. People want stable minds in unstable situations. They want leaders who don't panic. Teammates who don't collapse. Partners who don't escalate. When calmness becomes your default, you stop being reactive, and start being sought after. And once people seek you out, you're no longer chasing power. Building this reputation takes discipline. One emotional outburst can undo months of restraint. People remember explosions more than calm moments. That's human nature. So commitment matters. Calmness isn't something you turn on when convenient. It's something you practice until it becomes automatic. You still feel emotion, you just don't let it control your behavior. You process later. You act deliberately now. Over time, the effort decreases. The identity solidifies. And eventually, staying composed feels natural. At that point, people stop seeing it as effort. They see it as who you are. An identity is harder to challenge than behavior. Early on, people will test you. They'll provoke. Push. See if you're real or pretending. Most fail here. They react once, and the image cracks. But if you pass these tests repeatedly, the testing stops. People adjust. They accept that emotional pressure won't work on you. That's when the dynamic permanently shifts. You no longer need to assert dominance. It's assumed. Your reputation walks into the room before you do. And on the rare occasion someone challenges you, others instinctively side with you. Not because you demanded it, but because your consistency earned it over time. There's a difference between being feared, loved, and respected. Fear fades when you're absent. Love changes with emotion. Respect lasts. Calm, unshaken people earn respect because they don't rely on intimidation or approval. They rely on control. People may not adore them, but they trust them. And trust is power that doesn't need reinforcement. When you're respected, you don't need to argue as much. You don't need to explain yourself endlessly. People give you the benefit of the doubt. That advantage compounds quietly. And before you realize it, confrontations stop feeling threatening altogether. Calmness is not a tactic, it's an identity. When you adopt it fully, arguments lose their edge. Pressure loses its grip. You stop reacting and start directing outcomes. Others sense it immediately. They adjust their tone, their approach, their expectations. You're no longer pulled into chaos, you're above it. And once you operate from that level, power stops being something you chase. It becomes something that follows you. Every composed response reinforces it. Every restrained reaction strengthens it. Until one day, nothing truly shakes you. And that's when people realize, you're not loud, aggressive, or dominant. You're untouchable. True strength isn't volume. It isn't sharp comebacks or emotional intensity. It's steadiness. People lose trust in those who can't hold themselves together. But they follow those who remain grounded when everything falls apart. Calmness signals reliability. Reliability invites authority. Authority creates influence. This isn't theory, it's how real power operates in daily life. Control yourself first, and situations start bending in your favor. Master your breathing. Your posture. Your voice. Detach from emotion. Act strategically. Do it consistently. Over time, this becomes who you are. And once it does, confrontations stop being battles. They become opportunities.